Welcome back to part 2 of why I am breaking up with imposter syndrome, and maybe why you may want to consider it too. Right. I should have started with this yesterday because I was quite nervous to open up this conversation. And I'll tell you why. When I was growing up, to be different, to be extra, to walk outside the lines, to be ambitious, to basically take up space in my surroundings was often not appreciated. And this might be parents going, "Oh, you think you know all the answers, don't you?" Or I've spoken about this before. I remember saying to somebody when I was about 10 or 11 and somebody asking me what I wanted to do when I was older. And I was that kid. I wasn't conceited. I wasn't a big show off or anything like that. But somebody asked me what I wanted to do when I grew up. And I told them in detail. I mean, not like chapter and verse, but maybe like 3 or 4 sentences that kind of went along the lines of like, and then I'd like to do this, and like, this is the plan, and this is where I'd love to go. All of that came true, by the way, just as an aside. My 10 or 11-year-old self very much knew. And as soon as I said that to an adult, I had that feeling of, no, I've messed this up. I've said too much. I've been too much. Time to rein it in. Right, I'm not going to do that again. Because I was greeted from this adult of like, oh, I mean, again, this might be really triggering, and I'm sorry if it is, that like, oh, who do you think you are then? And I didn't think I was being anybody. I was just answering very frankly as a child, like what I wanted to do. And also trying to do that thing where I was trying to be polite and answer the question that was being asked of me. So from that point onwards, I had a dawning, right, it's time just to hold back a little bit. And yes, I think there is a place for that in some ways. And, you know, I know it with clients, sometimes it's like, do I have to tell everybody what I'm working on? No, not if you don't want to. But when you launch it, you might want to tell some people because that's how you'll get customers and sales, etc. But you can keep these hopes and these dreams contained and protected and looked after until you are ready to reveal them. And I knew from that moment, even earlier actually, 7, 8, I knew that I didn't have connections in the acting industry. I didn't know people. I wasn't going to get a leg up from somebody. I also wasn't, and God, it breaks my heart a little bit to think, you know, even at 7 or 8, I knew this. I knew that I wasn't like naturally thin, which was very much what the expectation was to be. If you were going to go to theatre school or stage school or whatever it was, that you had to be like tiny and cute and kind of wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, wide-eyed and bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. That's what I'm trying to say. And already I had that recognition that I wasn't going to fit that mold. And so I begun the work. I worked so hard. Like I was relentless with it. I didn't give up on things. Like I'd have a go, I'd try again, I'd get my head in the game, I'd put in extra hours. I was determined to succeed. And I see this pattern go into my life right now. And over the last few years, I've had to really have that self-awareness and that spending time with this notion of hard work and really work out what it means. Because also I found that hard work does not always equate to meeting the goal. It doesn't always equate to the money or the recognition. It just means that you are on the working hard treadmill. And here's where I want to go next. Many of my clients, many people that I have met in my life are hard workers. That is their natural default position. Whether that's a healthy decision, a conscious decision, an unconscious decision, that is their natural disposition. They're going to endeavor to do the right thing. They're going to show up on time. They're going to be disciplined. They're going to do what is needed to get the job done. They're going to be thoughtful. They're going to be discerning. They're going to be considered. And they maybe also are not very good at switching off or thinking they've done enough. And so when there's this conversation of imposter syndrome, of, oh my goodness, I can't believe that I've made it into this room, I hope I don't get found out. If I brought together whatever people's dream room scenarios are, or those rooms where they're like, whoa, how did I get here? There's definitely been times in my career when I've almost had to pinch myself thinking, how did I get to do this? How did this happen? And again, the temptation can be like, I don't deserve this. I am going to get found out. It was just luck. It was just a one-off. But I'm saying this for myself as well as for you. It's not a fluke. It's not a one-off, because behind this moment today, right here, right now, whatever that is for you, there are hours and days and weeks and months and years and sacrifice and decisions and resilience and giving this a go and hating everything about it and burning the whole thing down and starting again and being full of self-doubt. Often there is this journey up until this point. And so one of the things that I have been playing around with, and I've lent it to clients, is when people have that moment of feeling like an imposter there, I ask myself and I ask other people, why? Who do you think deserves it more? Who do you think should be here? And quite often they'll say, well, I don't know, like somebody more qualified. And I'll ask them, but you're qualified. No, but somebody who's been doing it for longer. Well, look how many years you've been doing it. Yeah, but maybe somebody, and so it goes on. And so I want you to have a conversation. And sometimes if you need to borrow this and have this relationship with it like a close friend of yours, you know, say your friend goes for an amazing job interview or meeting or something like that, and they say to you, I can't believe like I've got this opportunity, and like, how did this happen? We have to be practical here and say to each other, it happened because you deserved it. It happened because you've been doing this for 20 years. Now, of course, there will always be an overnight success. There will always be somebody who's popped out of nowhere. There will always be somebody who is somebody's daughter or sister or whatever, and they get to skip the queue. But for the most part, for most of us, we are in that grind. We are in that day to day. We are in the groove of doing this. And so I want you to think about how you would speak to your friends, your family, your children, if they were in that wobbly moment. And I want you to apply some of that to yourself. Because you spending time, whatever that room is, playing a version of yourself which is a bit like dampened down, a bit timid, a bit, oh my goodness, I can't believe it, I'm here, that moment where you're a bit stifled, you're a bit stuck, that doesn't serve anybody. And the reason that you have been in this situation, you are in this particular room, is because people want you to show up and perform and deliver and do what they've asked you to do. So when you're stuck in this, oh my goodness, I can't believe it, I'm here. And I realized that with acting jobs very early on. I was so effing grateful. I was so effing grateful and so humble, and I would just like take the crumbs of everything because I was so delighted that I even had a chance. And I kept comparing it to the younger version of me who didn't have any of the ideas or the clues of how I was going to do this. And what I actually needed to do was to compare myself to the person that I was and was being like the past year or 6 months or 2 years or 3 years. Because actually when I looked at the input that I had created over that short period of time leading up to this, actually where I was in that next moment made complete sense. Because I'd built the blocks that were leading to this next place. I hope you got something from today. I would love to hear it. Yeah, and this is a different type of video. It feels a bit more vulnerable, but I'm here for it because there is not enough of a spectrum of voices out there in the world, and stuff needs to happen and stuff needs to change, and maybe you are that person to do that. And so fully taking up space is really, really important. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in part 3.